Week 3 NFL is coming up, but I wanted to do a recap on Week 2 because, again, we killed NFL, killed Week 2. We killed Week 1, killed Week 2. Even with some of the bad beats that we had, we're still crushing it. Like, we literally could be doing better than what we are, and we're still crushing it. Make sure this volume is up so we don't play around again. Last night, Thursday Night Football, for Week 3, we had the Niners -10, crushed that game. We also have them on a teaser, so that's looking good. Week 2, what did we finished off? Monday Night Football, we had the Panthers +3. We got a push on that one. We had Pittsburgh at home +2.5, I believe it was. We won that one, and then we had a teaser with both of them, that one too. So we went 2-0 in a tie. On Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. Who was Sunday Night Football? I'm trying to remember while I get this set up. Shoot, I don't remember off the top of my head. But I do know that we crushed it on Sunday. So if we started off, Thursday of last week was Vikings and Eagles. We got in on Vikings +7 because that's what we do. We bet early in the week and we get the best of the lines. And that's how you make money in NFL. If you wait till Sunday, you wait to watch these videos, you're not going to get the line that I already dropped in the Discord and gave to my guys. So if you're waiting that long, you're not going to do great. You'll win. You'll still win with my bets, but if you want to see that, try not to raise a liberal. But if you really want to win money, you got to be in early. You got to get the best of the lines. You got to get it before all the injury news. You got to, you know what I mean? You have to take advantage. So I'm just going to pull this up. Let's see, we had... Just trying to get a whole Week 2 summary for you guys. I know we crushed it on Sunday itself. My picks. Yeah, I know I won yesterday. I don't need to see that. We got those. Past week. Okay, so like I said, Thursday we won that game on the Vikings +7. Then going to Sunday, we had Chicago +3, which was a pretty bad loss. I mean, we had a push, and then with the ball, we should have got nothing worse than a push. Justin Fields is Justin Fields, though, and he threw a pick 6 to a guy standing right in front of him. I don't want to necessarily say it's a bad beat, but we didn't deserve that result. Green Bay, we placed Green Bay +3 on Sunday. I couldn't believe that line went up as high as it did. We grabbed +3. They won, or they covered. They lost by 1 at the last second with a field goal. Let's see, we had Seattle +6. That was an easy winner. They won outright. We even had some second half over that won. We had Tennessee +3. They won outright against the Chargers. We did have the Bengals. I'm a little salty on that just because I think Burrow is more hurt than what they were trying to tell everyone. So it looks like he's been hurt for these first 2 weeks, and it sucks that it is what it is, but whatever. We took an L on that one. We had Buffalo team total over 27.5. That won. KC -3. That won. We had KC live when they were down early. We got them live for 2 units, -115. That one. We had a parlay with the Bengals on it that lost. And then we had another parlay, Chiefs, Buffalo, and Niners. They all won. We cashed that that one for about almost 2.5 units. And then we had the Giants second half -5 when they were down big time. And then we had a live bet early plus 200. We could have got plus like 600, 700, 800 on that, but I didn't want to keep throwing more units at it. But we hit all of that. I did throw in a late play on the Jets. That was a bad bet. That wasn't even a numbers bet. I just figured the defense would be playing better to keep, whatever. It was a bad bet. We took an L on that one. There was no reason to bet that. Washington second half when they were down big time to Denver, we crushed that one. Oh, we had New England +3 Sunday Night Football. They did not cover. We did lose that one. But overall, we won about 11 units last week. Again, just stacking money. Let's see if I pull up, is that the whole? We're roughly we are up over 20 units, it looks like, for the season. That doesn't include preseason. We crushed preseason as well. But whatever. On to the new week. Y'all don't care what I did last week. You guys want winners for this week. I got it. We figured that out. We got the Niners yesterday. I know. Start the week off good, but I know you want new games. Okay. So let's just start from the top. Tell you what I have, what the lines are, whatever. First game off the board, Chargers in Minnesota. Obviously, 2 0-2 teams going against each other. There's not really anything with the line. It looks like now the Vikings are pretty much a 1-point favorite everywhere. For me, it's pretty close. I would probably have the Chargers as a slight favorite, maybe a pick 'em here. I do like the Chargers as a teaser leg, getting it to +7. I just don't see either of these teams winning by more than 7 because of their defenses and just they always tend to play close games. So we did take a teaser with the Chargers +7. I like that. You should be able to get that. Even if the line flips, I would take Minnesota +7. It's either way. Not much else to talk about there. I think whoever loses that game, though, I would bet them to make playoffs. Whatever number that is, you're probably going to get +400 or 500 at that point. I think that's a good bet for whoever loses this game. So, all right, switching over, Buffalo in Washington. It looks like Buffalo is a minus about 6.5 in most places. It's a little high for me. I think it would be closer to 5.5. Not something I really want to get involved with, though. Washington is a 2-0. They're 2-0 on the season, but they played Arizona and then they came back against Denver. I don't think this is a great matchup for them, so I'm just going to kind of completely lay off the game. If there's something involved, if Buffalo's down or something early, then maybe we'll get involved. But other than that, I don't really want to touch it. New Orleans in Green Bay. This one I struggle with a little bit. It looks like New Orleans took some money here. Green Bay was sitting at -2 for most of the week, and now it looks like they're 1.5 and 1 at some places. So I would think my numbers tell me this is more. New Orleans should be favored by about 1 point. So I might take some money line, or I might just play them as a teaser leg, get them to +7 or 7.5. Now, somehow I'm standing sideways on the beach, but whatever. So New Orleans, I like them as a teaser leg this week, getting them to +7, +7.5. Yeah, their offense hasn't looked great, but they did play against two pretty good defenses. The only thing I don't really like here is it is back-to-back road games for New Orleans. Shorter week because they played Monday night. I just don't see Green Bay running away with games this year. I don't think they have the offense to do that. So I do like New Orleans as a teaser leg. I'll come back to that if the line goes crazy and then we can get a better number on New Orleans. But for now, just a teaser. Okay, and then for Atlanta in Detroit, it looks like Detroit has come down. They started at like a 4.5 point favorite, and now they're 3.5 most places. If we are getting a 3, let's see, I'll pull it up. So you could get -3 at -115 from a bunch of books, it looks like now. There is a -3 minus. That's a short vig book though, -107. So for the most part, -3, -115. I like that. I'm hoping it continues to go down. If we can get like a -3, -110, or -105, obviously I like that more. Just trying to save vig. I haven't bet this yet just because I'm just waiting to see where the number settles, but I will be on Detroit here. I like them -3. Obviously, if I can get a better line, I'm going to wait for that. So that's why I'm waiting. Atlanta they didn't deserve to win last week. I guess they deserved to win week 1, but they didn't play well at all. Carolina just doesn't have any offense. I think this is a good spot for Detroit coming off of a bad loss, overtime loss. The defense, didn't do them any favors. Jared Goff threw a pick 6. I just like this spot to get a lot of points on the board. They could pretty much name their number in this game. I'm expecting at least a 10-point win in here. Atlanta's looked okay, whatever. They're 2-0. They take their first L this week. This is a Detroit wins pretty handedly type game here for me. So I like that. Detroit -3 will be a play. Take that. Tennessee in Cleveland. Before Chubb got hurt, before the game, they were about -4. After that, they dropped to 3.5, and then now it looks like it kind of settled at 3.5. I'm probably playing Tennessee here again. We played them last week. They were at home, 3-point underdogs. Didn't understand it, took it, we won. This week, I'm just not a big fan of Cleveland. Like, yes, they have a good D-line, and yes, they have a good running game, but I think Watson's pretty bad. I've always said this. I think he's not great. Also, I don't really like Cleveland's secondary. I don't think they're a good secondary. I think they'll give up points, and I don't think they can score enough points to cover spreads, especially over 3. So we will probably be on Tennessee +3.5. If Cleveland wins by a field goal, fine. But Tennessee loves to play close games. They play with their defense. They'll figure a way out to make it a monkey game, dirty it up, stay within the number. I do like that Tennessee +3.5. I'm just kind of waiting for. So like right now at Bookmaker, they have a +3 +105. There's some +3.5s at -115. I'm just kind of waiting to see if we can get a better number. It's not terrible, but we'll wait and see. But there you go. Tennessee +3.5 will be a play. Houston in Jacksonville. Houston has some injuries. I actually wanted to play Houston this week, but they have some injuries, and Jacksonville hasn't looked great this season. I still lean to Houston. I just don't see Jacksonville being able to stop teams enough to cover big spreads. They're -8, there's some -8.5s out there. Numbers kind of all over the place. Even Bovada has a -7.5, which is pretty crazy for a favorite. Usually they're, higher on the favorites, -9 or something, when other places are 8 and 8.5. So I do lean to Houston. Maybe we'll play it. Jacksonville hasn't looked good on offense, and it's not Lawrence's fault. It looks like it's a coaching issue. But again, even if their offense plays better, as I expect it to eventually, the defense is the problem. They don't have a good defense. They will give up points. Houston should be able to score some points in this game. Kind of lean to the over here. I don't really take a lot of totals, but I do kind of like this over. Maybe we'll get a slow first half, and then we can jump on the second half. I kind of like those situations. That's what we did last week with Detroit. They had a slow first half, and then the second half they scored like 30-something points. I do like those a lot. But I would say Jacksonville wins. 3-point game, 4-point game, something like that. I do think Houston covers. I will say Jacksonville wins like 24, Houston 21, something like that. Let's see. New England in New York Jets. So we did grab this bet, Jets +3 earlier in the week. It looks like most places are hanging 2.5 now. I just don't understand New England being I get it. The Jets have Zach Wilson starting. He didn't look good last week. That was against the Cowboys D-line after the Jets just, it was a bad situation. It was a bad spot. The Jets beat the Bills after Rodgers went down. They rallied around, Zach Wilson. Football is an emotional sport. I think that was a flat spot. Going into Dallas, playing a very good D-line, one thing goes wrong, then it's like quicksand. One thing goes bad, and it just keeps happening, keeps getting worse. I expect them to play better this week. I think getting points at home against New England is just crazy to me. I don't see how New England is a favorite on the road to anybody, to be honest. I'm not sure how they even score a freaking touchdown this week. I would still take the Jets +2.5. I would take some money line. We'll definitely be adding some money line on this. So I think the Jets win, and I don't think it's relatively that close, like 20-10, 20-13 Jets. I don't think New England has the offense to score with other teams, especially when they're playing good defenses. And they do have a decent defense themselves, but it's nothing like the Jets have. Moving on, Denver in Miami. We did take Denver +7. It is now 6.5, and it's pretty much stayed 6.5 all week. Yeah, it's pretty much 6.5 across the board. I still like that. I don't see, obviously Miami can score points. I do expect Denver. This is the thing with them. Sean Payton, he's a decent coach, but his problem is the same as Shanahan, for example. When they get a lead, they just cannot put teams away because they play. Alright, my fault. I didn't realize we were at the 10-minute mark. So, anyways, we took Denver. I just don't see them, like I was saying, with Shanahan, with Peyton, some other coaches, when they have a lead, they will blow leads because they play to not lose the game. And that's why we grabbed Washington second half last week. That's why they lost to the Raiders in week 1. They like to play close games and try to win it in the end, and that's their problem. So I do expect this to be a close game. I think they hang around with Miami. I think they even have a chance to win the game. It's just, will they actually do enough to win the game? But as an underdog, I like it. You're getting 6.5. I would still take that. Denver plus 6.5. That's my bet on that game. So that's it. If Sean Payton is favored, I fade him laying the points. If he's an underdog, take the points. All right, moving on. Indy in Baltimore. We're probably playing Indy. I haven't bet it yet. We did bet Baltimore on a teaser. And, yeah, they should still cover the teaser. But it still worries me because they have so many injuries. And, I mean, they had the same injuries last week, and they found a way to pretty much win the game, without a sweat. I know Bengals made it close in the end, but it really wasn't ever that close of a game. But again, they have so many injuries this week, and the Colts, they have Minshew starting. Richardson is out. I don't think that's much of a drop-off. Yeah, Richardson can run and he can extend plays. Minshew's not going to be able to do that, but Minshew will be able to make the throws that Richardson can't. So it kind of washes itself out, in my opinion. If anything, if there's a drop-off at all, I would say it would be with Richardson in, actually. So, yeah, Richardson can run. He makes plays. I think they put him on a couple QB draws. They had some breakdowns where he got outside, scored a touchdown. But I think Minshew will pretty much be able to pick apart this Baltimore defense and keep it a close game. I haven't bet it yet, but we might be on Indy plus 8.5 here. I do lean that way at least. So Baltimore wins probably by a field goal, maybe a touchdown at most. I don't really see them blowing them out. Moving on, not much to talk about there. Carolina and Seattle. We did play Carolina. Okay, I'm glad to see some line movement because I was getting very, not frustrated, but just didn't understand it. I know, okay, so let's just start at the beginning. Carolina, we knew Bryce Young was going to be out. We knew he was hurt. I already had info that he was going to be out. So on, I want to say it was Tuesday, we bet Carolina plus 6, knowing he was going to be out and Dalton would be starting. Come Wednesday, a sharp group, I guess I won't give his name out on here, but there was a sharp group, who played Seattle minus 6 because they knew Bryce Young would be out. And I'm like, that's literally the opposite thinking of my thinking. I'm playing it because he's out, not because he's, not the other way around. So they played Seattle minus 6. It then got pushed up to Seattle minus 6.5 after he put that play out. And then today, it has dropped a full point to minus 5.5 across the board. So now I feel better about myself because I'm like, I don't understand what I'm missing here. But now, since, the limits are open, it's Friday, the bigger limits are allowed. People have slammed Carolina plus 6.5, plus 6, all the way down to 5.5. And that I agree with. I agree with that money coming in. We have Carolina plus 6. I still, at 5.5, don't agree with this line. And I just don't, I'm not a believer in Seattle. They won last week. We did have them last week. And it was a spot where I liked them coming off of a bad loss and against a team who's coming off of a good win. And the spread also was too high. So that's how I do it in NFL situations, and then when the numbers are too high. So Seattle laying 6 at home against Carolina after an overtime win. I don't don't see it. Carolina hasn't looked good, obviously, and I'm not a fan of Bryce Young at all. So I like Dalton in here. Carolina will be able to score some more points than they have been, and they have the defense to hold Seattle in check a little bit. The only issue would be like a Dalton pick 6 or something like that, which is very possible. But I do like Carolina. I'd like it all the way down to 4.5. So Carolina, if you haven't got in on it yet, that's why you need to go in my Discord or on my Betstamp, and you would have got +6. You wouldn't be in this situation. But you're here watching the video, so it is what it is. Carolina +5.5 would still be a play, but we got them at +6. Moving on. Dallas in Arizona. This is like, I wouldn't be able to get to that number, -13 it looks like. Arizona is really bad, Dallas is really good, but even so, I'm never going to be able to get my numbers to that number. Is just so high. But there's no way I would be playing Arizona here unless, the only thing is Dallas, I believe, let me see, after this week, I believe they're playing San Francisco. So this is kind of one of those sandwich spots where maybe they play down to their competition a little bit because they have San Francisco on deck. It's possible. But because their defense is so good, I don't really like that thinking, just because the defense usually shows up, makes plays. So I'm just going to stay off of it. Maybe Arizona will get an early lead again and we'll be able to fire on Dallas just like we did with Giants last week. So I don't know. There's nothing there for me. Chicago in KC. It looks like Chicago actually took some money. So we're seeing 12.5. We're seeing 12s. I don't know who's betting Chicago, and I don't know why. I get it. Justin Fields, I mean, he's trash, but he is able to run. So I could see this being, a 20-point game, and then at the end of the game, Chicago scores a meaningless touchdown to get it somewhat closer, and they cover the spread or something like that. So I understand that. But I just don't think we have seen the full potential of the KC offense. Last week, I believe they had 3 or 4 fumbles. Let me just pull it up. I believe they fumbled the ball like quite a few times, and they pretty much they had a lot of yardage. They had a lot of chances for points, and it just didn't happen. But like I said, they could have pretty much ran away with that game. Let's see. Yeah, Mahomes had 305 passing yards. Let's see. They had a total of... Okay, why do they make it so hard to look at stats? Oh, my Lord. ESPN is literally the worst. I don't... Anyways, so yeah, KC had 400 yards total. Jacksonville had 270. So they had 3 turnovers is the problem. They should have scored more points than they did, but we got the W. I just think against a very bad Chicago defense, I mean, very bad, you're going to see Mahomes with possibly, 400-something yards and just pretty much kick the shit out of Chicago this week would be my thinking. I just don't really want to lay 13 points, but maybe if at that 12 it kind of gets enticing. Maybe it's calling my name, I don't know. But moving on, we have, sorry, I just pulled up the wrong one. Okay, so for Sunday Night Football, 1 second. Alright, I don't know where I'm at now. Some kind of like enchanted forest. I'm not sure. Anyways, Sunday Night Football, we have Pittsburgh in Las Vegas. It looks like Las Vegas is still taking money. I don't really understand why. I mean, I know Pittsburgh didn't look good in the win. They didn't look very good. But Pittsburgh has faced the Niners' defensive line and then Cleveland's defensive line. So, yeah, they're not going to look great playing those two D-lines. Pickett hasn't looked great, but now they're playing probably the worst defense in the NFL. And then Las Vegas is taking more money, so I'm just waiting for a +3. That's all I'm waiting for. I see there is a +3 -115 at North Star. I can't get that, but BetMGM has -120. Bet Rivers plus. It looks like we're trending that way. So it looks like we're trending that way. It looks like we'll get Pittsburgh +3 somewhere. If not, I still like the 2.5. I do like them teased up. Do like the money line. I just don't. Vegas. I can't be betting on the Raiders until they're a good size underdog. When they're getting points and they're depending on their offense to score points to cover, I'm okay with that. But laying points with that defense, I just can't do it. I don't know. Is it their home opener too? It might be their home opener. So I get that a little bit more. But still, laying 3 points with that defense, I can't do it. Let's see. So I know they played in Denver week 1, I believe. Yeah, in Denver week 1. And then, yes, last week. Okay, it didn't even change. I know they played the Bills. I'm pretty sure that was in Buffalo. Yeah, so they haven't had their home opener. I just wanted to make sure. Home opener, Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football would be the only reason that I wouldn't bet the Steelers. That's literally the only reason. I have no other reasons other than that. So maybe we'll just put the Steelers on a teaser. Getting them up to +8.5 seems like the best bet. If we get a +3, I'll definitely take that though, but probably will lay off the money line at 2.5s. Just for the simple fact that this is their home opener coming off of a loss. And it's on Sunday Night Football, so it's in Vegas, whatever. That's their only stuff they have going for them is the situation. So Steelers on a teaser +8.5 with someone else. Moving on, we have Philly and Tampa Bay. Looks like Philly is now pretty much 4.5 across the board. I think that's pretty close to where I had it. I want to say I had 4. Pretty sure my number is 4. So there's a slight edge still on Tampa Bay. Philly has some injuries. I don't think this Philly team is as good as they were expected to be. I do think they have some issues. Tampa Bay is a little bit overvalued just because they're 2-0. They didn't look great last week against Chicago. They did look better against Minnesota, but they still should have lost that game. So they really should be a 1-1 team right now. They're 2-0 at home. Monday Night Football. Getting 4.5. I probably will have to play Tampa Bay just because of the number. I would prefer if they started off 0-2 and we were getting +6 or something, or 1-1 getting +6, but it is what it is. It's still a Monday Night Football game. It's at home. I do think Philly, I don't think their offense is as good as everyone was kind of expecting them to be. I would say teams have figured out Hurts, but I think they've figured out how to kind of limit him and making him throw the ball. And he's struggled a little bit so far this season. I want to say he only has like 300 yards passing, something pretty small. Let's see. He has 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. I don't think he's looked good. They honestly should have lost last week. If Minnesota doesn't fumble the ball 4 times, they win that game. So, and they looked really bad against New England in the first week. But when you've looked bad and you're 2-0, that's not a good thing for other teams, because if you start figuring it out, reel off 10 in a row or something. So hard to say with that, but I do like Tampa Bay getting 4.5 at home. Just kind of waiting to see some injury news, but it looks like they're dealing with some injuries. Tampa Bay's took some money already, so I would lean to Tampa Bay. I would say Philly wins, but like a field goal. I like Tampa Bay's defense. They still have weapons on offense. If Mayfield can make some throws, keep the team in the game. Mike Evans is crushing it. You need to get the ball to Godwin some more, but yeah, I do like that. Tampa Bay at home. Last game on the list, Rams in Cincy, so it's a doubleheader for Monday Night Football. I don't get these doubleheaders. They're not even doubleheaders. They start within like 30 minutes, 40 minutes of each other. I don't understand it. They're like hoping the first game will be at halftime when this game starts, and then you watch for 15 minutes, and then you go back to the other game, and then you miss the whole. I don't get it. Whatever. I don't know why you wouldn't just do 4 and 7. 4 and 7 doesn't make sense. Anyways, rant over. It looks like Cincinnati is laying 2.5, almost a 3. Most of them are 2.5. I haven't touched this. I know when it first came out, I want to say it was like around 6, and some people got lucky and grabbed the Rams with the knowing that Burrow was hurt. But I'm just not sure what the plan is. I don't know. Not sure if he's playing. I'm not. No one has really said anything. Let's see. It still says. I mean, I know he didn't practice. If he doesn't start, anyways, you get Jake Browning, Folsom legend. I don't know. I guess we just wait and see what happens, see where the line kind of settles, and then I'll decide from there. But if I had to pick now, I would probably take the Rams at +3. The Bengals haven't looked good, but things change. If your quarterback goes out, they're going to change the offense. They took I think almost every snap from shotgun last week. Obviously, he's playing hurt, so if you get a quarterback that's not hurt and you get some more run game, get some play action, you can't really play the way that they've been playing the last 2 weeks. So I don't know. If Rams +3, I guess, for now. I wouldn't take it right now. I'd just kind of wait and see, but it is what it is. Anyways, that's it for week 3. Again, we're crushing it. Again, every NFL season we do this. We crush it. Join the Discord, and you can follow me on Twitter or whatever. It's at Chosen Sports. Sports has a Z at the end because they took my handle from Chosen Sports. So, Chosen Sports with a Z on Twitter. The Bet Stamp and Discord are in my links on YouTube. You can find them there. Join the Discord. You'll get all the plays before all the line moves. So, it's the best way. All right, guys. Good luck.